As the news of CJ Beathard's move to the Dallas Cowboys spread like wildfire, many fans were left scratching their heads, wondering what this truly means for the team. On the surface, it might seem like a low-profile signing, a simple backup quarterback addition that doesn't generate much excitement. But when you dig deeper, you begin to realize that this move might just have a much bigger impact than people are giving it credit for. Let's start by looking at the bigger picture of the Cowboys' offseason strategy. In recent years, Dallas has been known for its aggressive approach to bolstering its roster, particularly on offense. With the talent they already have in place, Dak Prescott at quarterback, a rising star in CeeDee Lamb, and a revamped running back room, they've been on the verge of making another deep playoff run. But one key piece has always been missing: consistency in the backup quarterback role. Last season, Cooper Rush did an admirable job filling in for Prescott when he went down with injury, but the reality is that backup quarterbacks often get the least attention, yet they are some of the most important players in the league. Think about it: when your starting quarterback goes down, the entire offensive system is thrown into chaos, and that's where a solid backup can either make or break your season. Beathard's arrival may seem minor, but there's a reason why the Cowboys decided to make this move now, and it ties directly into their long-term goals for 2025. For one, CJ Beathard is no stranger to adversity. The former third-round pick out of Iowa has spent most of his career fighting for relevance in a quarterback-driven league, and that's exactly the kind of mentality the Cowboys need in their locker room. With a chip on his shoulder, Beathard has shown he can step up when needed, despite not having the glittering numbers you might expect from a starting-caliber quarterback. He has had several seasons with the 49ers, and although his career stats don't scream future Hall of Famer, they do demonstrate a steady, dependable presence when called upon. In fact, Beathard's role in the 49ers' 2019 season, when he had to step in during some key games, highlighted his resilience. While the 49ers were mostly running with Jimmy Garoppolo at the helm, Beathard wasn't far behind, providing stability when it was necessary. Even though he didn't get a chance to start regularly, his experience in high-pressure moments is something that can't be overlooked. And while you might not expect Beathard to light up the scoreboard, the Cowboys clearly value his ability to come in during tough situations without folding under the pressure. Looking at the Cowboys' quarterback depth, it's evident that bringing in Beathard gives them a layer of protection they didn't have before. Dak Prescott's health has been a major talking point ever since his unfortunate ankle injury in 2020. Yes, he's managed to stay on the field since then, but the Cowboys know that one wrong hit could derail everything. Prescott is the face of the franchise, and keeping him upright is priority number one. However, backup quarterbacks have become much more than just insurance policies over the years. Teams like the Kansas City Chiefs, Green Bay Packers, and even the New Orleans Saints have all had to rely on backup quarterbacks to step in and win games. Beathard could very well be that backup for the Cowboys, providing stability when the team needs it most. When you look at how the league is trending, backup quarterbacks are often the difference between a 10-win season and a lost year. If Dak Prescott were to go down for an extended period, Beathard could step in and keep the Cowboys competitive, which is invaluable considering the strong teams in the NFC. It's important to understand that Beathard isn't just another clipboard holder sitting on the bench. He's a player with enough experience to step into the spotlight and contribute if called upon. The Cowboys coaching staff knows this, and that's likely one of the key reasons why they pulled the trigger on this move. But beyond just being a viable backup, Beathard offers an element of versatility that's difficult to ignore. He's an athlete, with the kind of mobility that allows him to extend plays and improvise when things break down. This could come in handy if the Cowboys' offensive line struggles at any point during the season. The Cowboys' offensive line, while talented, has dealt with injuries in the past, and a mobile quarterback like Beathard could be an asset in those situations. His ability to move around the pocket and gain yards with his legs can help mitigate any issues with pass protection. And let's not forget his arm strength. While he's not the most accurate quarterback out there, Beathard has shown he can make all the necessary throws, even under pressure. In fact, His deep ball accuracy is something that could benefit the Cowboys' offense, which has often been criticized for being too reliant on short to intermediate routes. Now, the big question everyone wants to know is whether Beathard will ever see the field in a meaningful way for the Cowboys. Of course, the hope is that Dak Prescott stays healthy for the entire season, but injuries are a part of the game. And while the Cowboys have shown confidence in Cooper Rush, Beathard's arrival raises the stakes. The Cowboys are bringing in a player with a bit of a chip on his shoulder, someone who's used to competing for a starting job in the NFL. This competition could push both Prescott and Rush to perform at their best, knowing there's someone behind them who isn't just there for show. Beathard's hunger and determination could ultimately elevate the quarterback room as a whole, and that's something that will benefit the team moving forward. But let's take a step back and look at the bigger picture here. When you bring in a player like Beathard, it signals a shift in the Cowboys' approach. They aren't just content with their current roster, they're making moves to ensure that they're ready for any scenario. Beathard's addition is a testament to the team's understanding of how the NFL landscape is evolving. More and more teams are looking at backup quarterbacks not just as emergency replacements, but as legitimate contributors who can help win games. And that's exactly what Beathard could bring to the table, an opportunity for the Cowboys to be more flexible with their game plan, knowing they have a reliable second option. But there's more to this story. Beathard's presence on the roster could also serve as a wake-up call to some of the other players, particularly in the quarterback room. It sends a message that nothing is guaranteed, and that even backup spots aren't safe. This kind of healthy competition can only serve to strengthen the team as a whole, ensuring that everyone is bringing their A game each day. As we continue to evaluate the impact of this move, it's worth mentioning that CJ Beathard could potentially bring a new energy to the Cowboys' locker room. In a season where the stakes are higher than ever, with expectations building for a deep playoff run, having a guy like Beathard, someone with a gritty, underdog mentality, could provide a much-needed spark. That's not to say the Cowboys are relying on Beathard to be their savior, far from it. But in the case of an injury or a slump in performance, Beathard could step in and bring a fresh perspective to the offense. His presence could be just what the Cowboys need to push them over the edge, especially if Dak Prescott has to miss time. The key takeaway here is that while the Cowboys may have made this move for insurance, the potential ripple effects throughout the roster could be significant. The depth it adds at the most crucial position on the field, quarterback, could ultimately be a game-changer. And as we look ahead to the 2025 season, it's clear that the Cowboys are positioning themselves to not just compete, but to thrive in a crowded NFC. The addition of Beathard is just another piece of the puzzle as they look to challenge the best teams in the league. Whether or not he ever takes a snap in a regular season game, Beathard's role on this team will undoubtedly be an important one. His experience, leadership, and ability to step up when called upon will make the Cowboys' quarterback room one of the most secure in the NFL. So while it might not be the splashiest signing of the offseason, it's certainly one that could pay dividends in ways we can't yet predict.